Hey YouTube, got a guitar I've never seen before, which you can't see because it's so black. This is a Hofner. Uh, I'll look up and find out what model it is. So, a double cut Les Paul, kinda. I've actually got a Hondo bass. There's a Hondo, if you're ever looking up Hondo guitars, there's a Japanese Hondo for a year. They made some guitars in Japan that are this shape, sort of double cutaway Les Paul looking. So we've got Grover tuners, which I'd imagine are probably stock. I don't see any. Normally when someone's changing tuners, there's wee screw holes from the previous tuners. So I think they're probably stock. It's got the cool fretboard inlays. I don't know if you can see that. They're kind of... You've got 3 dots. Like 2 wee dots and a big dot in the middle. That's pretty cool. That looks... Oh no, it's not. 15, 17, 19, 20, 22 frets. P90s, 2 sets of volumes and tones. So I mean, the idea of just getting you should have a P90 guitar, get a Hofner. I've actually got it in because it was buzzing a bit, but I think it was just the action was down so low. The action was down at like Ibanez RG levels. And it's one of those things that, depending on the guitar, depends what it is you're trying to play on it. I just feel that, for me anyway, if I'm playing a, like a guitar like this is a rock and roll, bit of distortion, not even bothering with the clean, bit of my joyous British sound. That's what I use it for. Just a wee bit low, get a wee bit more out of it. Kinda sounds like the tone controls on, doesn't it? Rat. Okay, maybe it's because I'm not using the rat pedal. Yeah, so I mean, it's an interesting one I've not seen before. It's kind of got the classy look. To be honest, the thing I don't like about it, I don't like the scratch plate. Either not have the scratch plate but it leaves you with 2 screw holes, or get one that's got like the white edging round it. I'm not normally one for being pernickety about such things, but see, just because it's the single shade, I mean, I don't like it so much. What was I going to look at to see what the scale length is? It's a little bit neck heavy, as in it wants to sit horizontally, but that's just one of the things that you get with double cut guitars like this. So it's Gibson scale, not Fender scale. The neck seems very long, but I think it can be such a... I mean, look at where the pickup is as well, wedged right up against the fretboard. So it's like more like a Les Paul than an SG, which has got like a gap. But he's just like the neck, because what you can actually see when you're playing it, you can see like right down past that. It doesn't have this bit hiding it. The neck seems an awful lot longer. But you get that with any Explorer type guitar as well, just because there's nothing here. It kind of makes, you know, normally you've got a bit coming out like this, so that looks like the neck's only that long, even though... So I suppose it's basically just... I can kind of see it's quite a clever guitar to make, to be honest, because you're going to be looking at a lot of people that, you know, are going to want their industry standards. They need to have a Tele and a Strat and a Les Paul and an SG, and it's like, you know, I quite fancy something a bit different. I've got, you know, I've gone the expensive. Got the Gibsons and you know the expensive stuff, and it's like I quite fancy one with P90s in it. It's like Hofner or used to be like a big name. I'd imagine this is a modern one made in Korea, is what I'm thinking. Kind of has that Samiki feel to it. Binding on it. It's nice. Actually got a very similar feeling neck to fill there in the corner, so that'd be absolutely no use for it as a reference point to you at all, because no one's ever played a fill. And here's one way that it's better than a Gibson Les Paul. The Gibson Les Paul, which is the same as my pal, the guitarist in the Sabbath band, but a Gibson SG Special with the P90s in it. The pickups are not on strong springs, so you can push them and they go, oh, 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 and you can move them in with your finger that much because the springs are dead. Aren't powerful enough to hold, just to physically hold the pickup up. This one doesn't have that. I mean, with Gibson, maybe that's what the original ones in the 50s were like, and it's like, it's a bad design. That doesn't matter. It's correct to the 1956 version, so we'll just do that. But it's not a good design. We'll do it anyway. Maybe that's what happened. Like using cloth wire. The point in that, it's not as good. It's harder to use. It doesn't insulate properly. Why use it? Because that's what they used in the 50s. Saying that, I did use cloth wire in that the J-Pax guitar that I wired. Not my one, wouldn't put it in my guitar. But it's like, oh, people look at it and go, oh, it's got cloth wire and CTS butts. Oh, that makes a difference. Do you know what this needs? This needs a J-Pax scratch plate. There's a point where you get like understated. I mean, I'm getting to quite like my new Yamaha, which I've been raving about recently. But it's understated. You know, it's really pretty uninteresting. There's not really enough a lot going on. It's got 3 pickups and a bridge, 2 knobs and a lever, and it's a sort of Strat shape. I don't know. There's something under. I don't know. It somehow has some sort of character. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I get what it is. It's like the Yamaha thing. I've got this thing in my head that Yamaha sound technologies are like, you know, lots of Japanese people standing about in lab coats with clipboards, measuring shit. And I can see them producing that guitar and just like pure, because it's just like on paper, it's just absolutely perfect. This one, it's not as obvious. It's kind of... Is it a Gordon Smith Gypsy that kind of looks like this as well? I'm not sure. I'm not 100%... A wee bit like a Yamaha SG as well, apart from it's not heavy and it's not thick. A wee bit like Yamaha SG. See, I'm not a huge fan of this shape, whether it be the Yamaha SG, which are amazing guitars, but it's this shape, and the Hondos that are this shape as well. Just, I'm too used to looking at the Washburn wings. There's one there, which are practically it's not as good a shape. I'm going to pick it up out. It's attached itself to a pile of bass strings. Yeah, see that? That to me is very pretty, but because I'm so used to looking at that shape, when it's these bits are under that shape and they're kind of a bit pointy, you can't really see it because it's too black. I just don't think it's as pretty, and that goes for the Gordon Smith Gypsy and I'm not talking about the quality of the guitar, I'm just talking about the look. But it's a much more practical one. I wonder if it's more practical to move the strap button to there, because that's what I did with the bass, which means it sits like that. Easy enough to do. I just think maybe it needs something to make it a little bit more interesting, so you can actually see the thing. And I know it's not very, the light in here is not very good, but even if I close the curtains, you still. Maybe I should, if I was just wearing a white T-shirt or something like that. I just feel like there's a wee bit you can't really see it. I can totally see this in cherry red. I don't know what colours it comes in, but it's got an interesting headstock on it. It's got a very vintagey look. I think this is a special model from. Some years they've got these dots, and sometimes they've got like plastic bars, like what the old Hofners in the 60s did, which is an aesthetic thing. But I mean, I've absolutely no idea. I'm putting this as what, a £300 or £400 guitar, something like that. Now, I mean, I've not seen it. I do know that I honestly didn't even know that Hofner made reissues until about 3 weeks ago. I was talking to the singer in the Black Sabbath band. He's got a Hofner violin bass. He's like, it's shite, blah blah blah. Can you fix it or swap it for one that works? He reckoned it was. He said it cost him £300. It's got quite a lot of damage to it. I still don't know what damage it's got. I was like, you're all right. So it's not like an original one for the 40s, for the 60s. I do remember seeing one actually in the Yellow Paper Scottish supermarket. It was a Hofner violin bass. Needs 2 strings, and it was £40, and it was one from the 60s, so the Paul McCartney one. Not that I really want one, although to be honest I might actually do a swap just to get a shot of one. But I mean, it's like Hofner, what does this have in common with all the other guitars you can buy just now? It's just a slightly different shape, made in the same factory, to the same sort of specs, the same sort of thing. They're all kind of like this. I mean, I don't know who owns them, but I mean, it'll be made in the same factory as the Epiphones or the Schecters or something like that. So basically the only thing that really changes is the brand name and the marketing and the aesthetic of it. You know, Hofner's obviously going for a more... Well, this looks almost metal. It's a kind of confusing one, because this guitar to me is like a Hofner, Beatles, obviously. So you're thinking beat groups, suits, brown guitars with Bigby's. It's what I think of, playing through a Vox AC30 is what I'm thinking of, whereas this doesn't really look like that to me. It kind of looks a bit more punk metal somehow. But I mean, it could be really good for down tuning and stuff like that, I don't see why not. And I do like a p90 guitar. And saying that, with a P90, I like a P90. I don't have any guitars apart from guitars that I've specifically made to be my P90 guitar with P90s in them. I'm not putting them in anything, really. I suppose it's just because effort. Generally, a humbucker fits into another humbucker hole, whereas like a P90, cut it out and make a pickup ring and all that. That's probably most of the reason. So currently my only P90 guitars are the Thor Sound, which is my P90 guitar, and then that Gibson Les Paul with the P90s in it, which I need to do something with. There's no point of just sitting there. do get a sort of an ooh factor out of P90s, but you don't really get anything else. It's kind of... Yeah, so I'm just gonna go for this being a Les Paul Junior P90. Les Paul might be called a special. It sounds a little bit different, and I think probably maybe what it's aimed for. It doesn't sound like a normal guitar. It's a little bit weird sounding. Like that neck pickup when I first played it, it sounds a bit mush, but it's got other qualities. It's just not really what I was expecting. Like, it seems to... I think they might be quite low powered pickups. That's maybe why it likes the rat pedal so much. Or are they too high powered, which makes them like the rat pedal too much? Anyway, rounds. Anyway, Hofner Les Paul Junior double cut P90 black. It's good. Catch you later.